Yo, what's good in the hood? Welcome to the August Daily. I am August C. Jones. And so on this video, I want to talk about a topic. I wouldn't even say it's taboo, but it's just something I believe. If you clicked on this one and you've seen the title, more than likely you know exactly what I'm going to talk about. And if you probably don't know, because I don't know if I really talked about it in any videos or whatnot, especially on my other channel, it's just the fact that I believe in aliens. I know a lot of people don't, and it's totally fine. Like, everybody has their beliefs. But yeah, I am a person that truly believe in aliens. And so this video is me talking about why I believe in aliens. Now, I'm no astrophysicist, I'm no astrologist or astronomer. It's something that I believe. So I'm a person where I believe in a lot of stuff, but I am skeptical of a lot of things. I do believe in ghosts, the afterlife, and everything else. I believe that there is anything is possible underneath the sun. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And I always love this saying, and I apply it to anybody I'm having this conversation with that doesn't believe in aliens and all that stuff. But the saying I love is, the absence of evidence isn't the evidence of absence. Which basically means just because you can't prove something exists doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. You know? And that's kind of the thing with aliens. And everybody has their thing as to why they don't believe it and all that stuff. Whether it's religious belief, aliens wasn't up in the Bible, or or the Quran, or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm just throwing out little examples for the sake of the argument. And it's like, that's cool and all, because that's a belief and everything else. But I do believe that there is something more. Like, I just can't sit here and just solely believe that, let's say, God created this whole expansive universe, which looks just huge. We're insignificant to the size of the universe. Created all of this, but yet we're the only life forms. In this big world, which is huge, we're the only life forms in this entire galaxy, which literally is insignificant in itself to the size of the universe. And so it's one of those things where, I mean, I just look at it like that. Like, there is some type of advanced civilization that has gotten way further than what we have. Just because our human evolution and just in technology and knowledge and everything that we have is going at a certain pace doesn't mean that other civilizations aren't out there that have literally skipped some steps, went from 1, 2, 3 to 10, because of whatever it was in their development as a species or whatnot. And a lot of people will say, well, if there's aliens, how come we haven't seen them, and all this stuff. And it's like, maybe we have, you just don't know it. How can I explain it? So people want to believe in stuff that they can see, which is totally fine. I'm the same way with a lot of things. I want to see it to believe it, blah, blah, blah. And I get that. But it's like, how do you know that you haven't came in contact with an alien? Just think of technology that we imagine in movies, in sci-fi epics. Certain things that we can imagine that at some point in human existence, this may exist, to where we can go through a person's memories and all that stuff. What if a civilization that's primitive to them, they've gotten to a point where what we might see from them is magic? It's kind of like Thor in the movie, how he was explaining to Jane that what is science is kind of I'm from a place where I forgot what he said, but he was just he's from a place where magic and science is kind of one and the same. So how do you not know that what they've came up with as far as technology, it just might look like pure magic to us. Like, I'm looking at it as, yeah, we might have these like sightings of like spaceships or ships, unidentified flying objects, flying around, and we just like, oh, this is aliens, this is a proof of aliens, all the lights and everything else. But what if they got into a technology to where they can be completely around us, observing us in every single thing that we do, and we just cannot sense them at all? With our human senses and everything else, us being keen to the world and all that stuff, what if their technology blocks that signal that we kind of get from the earth, having gut feelings and a sensation on the back of our neck, or a sense that something is behind us? I guess you could say, lacking for better terms, spidey senses. What if they have receptors to where they can block it, to where we won't sense them? They can be completely invisible, see right through them. We go right through them, like we can, like their armor be right here, and we just, without even like sensing anything is there. What if that is the technology that they're using? Like, they could be sitting in the car with me right now, listening to me talking about them. Like, what if they're that far advanced? What if, and maybe they haven't came to us yet, because they're in the sense of kind of like I think what was it, is Star Trek, where they involve themselves in certain like planets, but they don't get too involved to where they look like gods. Where the planet is primitive, they gotta let it evolve, let it like, let them do what they do. But in a sense, it's like they kind of be hands off and only really interfere if something major is happening. But it's something like that, they want to let us evolve instead of like interfering. Like say if you have a ant colony, an ant farm or whatever, and you give them food instead of just maybe, just letting stuff crawl in there and they attack it and all that stuff. It's just, you want to see them develop on their own. And that's probably how they're doing. They just experiment with us. And these experiments is taking over years, decades, centuries of their civilization, just keeping track on us and just seeing how far we're getting. And it's like, it's a lot of stuff that we just don't know. And I know a lot of people talking about the government, the conspiracies with the government and all that stuff, like, oh, Area 51 is housing, alien life and all this stuff. And they know, the president know, but they're not telling us and everything else. And it's like, what if they are? What if we have met like, alien life, but it's to the point where we just don't know about it? The government, they housing them, or they have deals with them. What if all the conspiracies that people have, where they live underground in the hollow earth, or they live in like Antarctica, or just whatever, they live on the moon? What if all of that shit is true? We can't travel to the moon like willy-nilly. You can't hop in the jet, fly all the way to the moon. Antarctica, cold as shit. Like, you can't just hop on a plane and go to Antarctica. Like, what if they're housed in places to where we cannot penetrate, that we can't go, so we can't prove it? So everything that I'm saying to you might sound crazy, conspiracy theories and all that stuff. But what if all of that is true? What if they're just so far in advance to where sometimes it might slip up? You might have other alien species that experiment or whatever on Earth as well, maybe less advanced than the ones that, the invisible ones, like I was talking about. And so what if that is it? We can't, as far as the universe is, as big and expansive as it is, I just don't believe that we were the only being created. And like, even if you're looking at it in Bible terms, I don't believe that God created this massive, place, this massive thing, and only have like a certain section, just this little ball, not even that big compared to the universe, but this little speck atom of a planet in this whole entire thing. And we're the only people that's there and there's no other life. Like I just can't. That's that's sad. You know, it's really sad. Like, how do we not know that we're part of a federation of a bigger like thing, and like we're like in a section that's hands off to where only certain important alien personnel can come to Earth in our solar system and do all that stuff. I just don't believe that. Like I said, you believe like the Bible. It's just, I don't know, man. Maybe my imagination is running wild, and a lot of our imagination is running wild. But I just don't believe that. Like, it's just this is like a sad existence. Like, just think of this whole planet, and the only life that's on this planet, I mean literally the only life on this planet, is like a little ant colony, and that's it. Just think of like how weird that would be. And then when you think about it, there are other planets that might have other types of form of life. And like a lot of people, they go along, as we're being taught in school, you know, water is the building blocks of life, you know, this and that. But what if it's not? What if it's the building blocks for certain life, but not for us? Because on Earth, there are things called extremophiles, where they live in the most extreme conditions, cold, hot, boiling, all that stuff that you would think that certain forms of life, or just life period, wouldn't be able to live in, yet thrive. And they do that. So what if there is an alien species that lives in that type of weather, that lives on Mars, that we don't see, but there is life on Mars? What if, as far as like as crazy, just extreme as Venus is, what if there is life that lives on Venus? It's just as extreme as the weather and everything else is on that planet. What if there is life on Venus or Jupiter or Uranus? It's like, we can't go to these planets like that to see it, to really experiment for long periods of time, let alone a short period of time. So it's like we don't know. And so it's like, and people looking at it as intelligent life. When we say alien, think intelligent life. What if we come across a planet or a moon that has alien life on there? It may not be intelligent, it may be primitive, it might be marine life. Like what is it, what's that moon going around, what is it that goes around Jupiter? I think it's Enceladus or Europa, but it has icy crust around the surface of it, and then you go miles down and there is an ocean that is like warm enough because of the fact that the friction, or not the friction, what is it, the gravitation, I think it is the friction, the gravitation of like Jupiter and everything, it heats up the water to have developing marine life in there. I don't know if I explained that right, but yeah, I mean, you get what I'm saying. If you know what I'm talking about, you get what I'm saying. If you don't, look it up. But, you know, there is water on Europa. So it's like, what if there is some type of like primitive marine life on there? What if other planets that we think that don't have any life, it does? It's just very, very primitive. Maybe microbes, you know, or just maybe like insect type of life. Certain things is like that small, size of ants or spiders. Okay, if you're not gonna go, then I'm gonna just take it. But it's like, what if that happens? What if we find that would count as, you know, as alien life? So I just look at it as it's a whole bunch of possibilities. Just because you haven't been to California doesn't mean that there isn't life in California. Just because you haven't been here doesn't mean that there's no life or nothing there. It's just we haven't gotten there to explore it, to see what is really there and what it contains. Like, you know, it's one of those things where we more than likely not going to find out a lot of this stuff. Probably not even in my lifetime, but towards the end of my lifetime. If I get to the age of an old, ripe 70, 80, 90 something years old, it's like we may not even find that out in my lifetime. Maybe in my son's lifetime, maybe in his son's lifetime, you know. But I mean, that's honestly what I'm just really like looking at, just in the overall scope. So I mean, honestly, that's really kind of like my whole take of just my belief in aliens. You may agree with me, you may not, because I know a lot of what I said, people might still have questions and all that stuff, and might disagree with me and be like, oh, but this doesn't make sense. Okay, cool, whatever. Believe what you want to believe. I'm gonna believe what I want to believe. But that's really where it stems from. It's just, I just can't believe that out of this whole universe, as big as it is, that we're the only life forms, and even just primitive, you know, life forms in this whole universe, that there's nothing more. I feel like not every sighting that we see of aliens is aliens. It may be some type of technology that we've developed, and that, you know, we've gotten so far in advance, but it's only experimental or whatever, and it's not known to the masses, to where it's like, oh, it's the light up there is aliens, it's, you know, whatever. But it's just a lot of questions that we don't know. And of course, if we don't know it, we're going to theorize, we're going to speculate of what something is, how something else is. But yeah, like I said, the conditions don't matter. Just because there's no water here, there's no water on that planet or that moon, doesn't mean that there isn't life, because that life could probably thrive off of whatever is on that planet. It's probably grown and evolved to like be able to breathe in like whatever gas is poisonous to us. I'm blanking right now, so but yeah, it could be something like that. Like, just think of the movie Signs. How, I mean, no matter how stupid it is, aliens coming to Earth that they know is filled with the thing that is very poisonous or just toxic to them, but they want to come over and take over. I don't know, whatever. But just the fact of water burning an alien like acid, just think about that. There might be a life form out there where water that we can't live without may be extremely toxic to them, to where if like they drink it, it's basically like drinking acid or drinking bleach or something like that. It's deadly to them. Just think about that. Not everything that keeps us living is going to work for, or make sense for another species somewhere in the solar system or universe or whatever. So I mean, and they theorize there is like life on Titan, the moon of Saturn. What if there is? It's methane gas that is the water, and the solids is H2O is water. You know, essentially. So what if there's like, you know, literally people that, not people, but like life that evolved on that moon, to where they can swim in methane liquid like it's water. But if we did it, we're fucked. You know. So I will leave it there. Not gonna make this video extra long. I may end up like adding on to it a little bit later or whatever, because there's certain videos that I watched that I kind of want to comment on. But essentially, that's the reason why I believe in aliens, and just what my mind is with it. You know, I'm not crazy. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I do like a lot of things that people have been saying. So but in any case, that has been this episode of the August Daily. Like, thank you guys for joining me. If you liked it, like it, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will catch you guys in the next daily. So peace out and stay safe.